feels kind of like that feeling in my chest that I get so often. I mean, a lot of the times it does feel like it's my heart skipping a beat, and maybe that is the case sometimes. But I feel now, after talking to Melissa yesterday, I feel like maybe it's the energy in me that's kind of changing. Kind of like the energy that needs to get out in some way or another. It makes me think that I want to do acupuncture sometime soon to try and help with that. I've also been thinking that I'm never alone. I think I felt alone for a long time, and that used to not bother me. It really didn't. I mean, I still recharge when I'm physically alone, when I'm by myself around nobody else. But I think it started getting to me when I subconsciously would think that I'm completely and utterly alone within this world and any other sort of like sense that you can put that in. I felt alone, and I think that scared the shit out of me. It made me feel like I wanted to die. Like dying would be easier than feeling like the crushing loneliness of not feeling like you have your team at your back. And I feel like a lot of the times, kind of separate but related, that tingling that I get so often. I mean, like, I know it's a very common thing, but lately I've been feeling it in my head. And it's not concerning, it's just like a tingling. I'm sure many other people feel it too. But it feels like maybe that's my team, trying to talk to me, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, who I know are always with me now. And I find that very comforting. I don't think I'll feel so many negative emotions from feeling alone. And even when I'm physically alone, like I am right now in this car, like I will be for this whole trip, which I've been very excited for, I know that I'm not fully alone, because I got my team, and that makes me very, very content. That brings me a lot of peace. And I've also been thinking, about the validation I felt yesterday, and what I know that I'm gonna be a big person. I just know it. I mean, I already am on a small scale. I want to be bigger, and I genuinely do want that. And I know that I need to put in work to get there. But I feel like it's gonna happen in one way or another. And like I told Melissa yesterday, I want to put in the work to make it easier. I feel like it's gonna happen no matter what. But I don't want the journey to get there to be so horrible, to be filled with like dread and turmoil and terror and fear, just being scared all the time. Like I wrote down a few weeks ago, just like I'm wading through, or no, what did I say? I said like I'm wading through this, or wading up, trudging up this muddy hill with no end in sight. And I'm doing the right thing, I'm going forward, I'm moving up, but it's the endless staircase. There's no end to it, and it's awful. I don't think there ever will be an end to it, but it doesn't have to be so muddy is the thing. I can stand on steps. They can be clean steps. It doesn't have to be a muddy hill in the rain. I want to make it easier for myself. And I think doing things like this will help a lot too, just recording myself and speaking about what's on my mind. Because when I stay stuck in my mind, that's when it gets scary, and that's when I feel so disassociative. Like I'm living just in my thoughts, and of course I can see what's happening out in my view, I can control my actions still, but it's so much more robotic. It's not very, doesn't feel very natural. But I gotta remember too, I always keep myself safe. I always do like the right thing. I mean, like physically to keep myself safe, you know, like driving. If I feel like I'm fucking disassociating behind the wheel, terrible place to do that. But I gotta remember and trust in myself that like I always keep myself safe. And I know I always will. I'm not stupid. I don't do stupid things. You know, I feel like I've said before, I feel like everyone should be like a little on edge behind the wheel. I never want to get too comfortable, and that's universal. That's not just for driving. I don't want to let myself get too comfortable, but not in a bad way, like just in a survival way. But then again, as I say that, I don't want to always be living in fucking fight or flight mode, because I'm gonna survive no matter what. I know I have a future. I know for a fact I have a future. I don't even believe it, I just know it. It's just a crazy thing to be alive and to figure all this out. And you're not gonna always, I mean, there's not like an end goal, you know? It's not like you're gonna solve the problem, which I've been realizing so much lately with all these things that I've been going through, that I've been trying to fix. I mean, my drinking, of course. And I changed my mindset, and that's the difference. I didn't fix anything. I changed my mindset. And I know I'm not gonna ever be able to, like, you know, fix myself to the point where I'll never feel any negative emotions ever. I used to think I could, and I think that made me so like frantic, you know, like trying to, how do I get there? Like, someone tell me how to get there as soon as you can. But that was just, it was human, but it was naive to think that was the case. I'm glad I figured that out somewhat quickly, after trying kind of frantically to get to that point. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a crazy thing to be alive. I hope I discover a lot on this road trip. I think I will. I'm excited to bring these new practices that I want to start doing in my life into this trip. I feel like this is the perfect time. I mean, any time is the perfect time. The perfect time is as soon as possible if it's a beneficial thing to your life. But it's just nice the way that the stars aligned, and I feel like my trip coinciding with my newfound, I guess I'll say, desire to live a fulfilling life and to my full potential. That is such a huge thing. I have fucking infinite potential. Everyone does. But I'm not everyone. I'm only me. I know I have infinite potential. And I'm very, very excited to see how far I can take it. I know the way that I impact people. I've known since I was a kid. And I want to figure out the most beneficial way for me to go about explaining that to people. To stay humble, but also realize how special I am. And how special I am to other people. I care so fucking deeply about other people. Other people are always on my mind. My actions in my life, I always think about them in terms of other people's lives around me. And like I was saying yesterday, sometimes I think that's very, very draining for me. And if I don't take the time to to recharge, to recenter myself, to plug in my battery, bro. That's just like, I have to do that. And I think these new practices, and I think this trip is the perfect way to start that journey. To start that journey to figure out, not solve, but to figure out along the way how to reach my full potential. Because I want that so desperately, and I think I've known that forever. But, you know, like along with all of this, I've just had to deal with, like everyone else, I've just had to deal with the simple fact of being alive, and all the confusion, all of the things that you don't expect to come up. They come up and they kind of steer you off course, or maybe not steer you off course, but they pump your brakes a little bit. And it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to forget where you're going, or that you were even going in the first place. Like, I feel like in so many times in my life, I just kind of think like, oh yeah, duh, I was doing this, or I was going this way. Why did I forget about it? So that's something to work on too. But the best part about remembering that you were doing something, that you were on the right path, or that you were doing something worthwhile that meant something to you, is that you remembered it. No matter when you remembered it, and you were back on. And you might get bucked off again, but as soon as you remember, you're doing the right thing. And it might be a long time in between periods when you don't remember. It could be years. That's the weirdest thing. Really enjoy writing, and I think that's a very good way for me to, get my more explicit thoughts down and work them out if it's something that I want to present to someone. But I really do feel like I'm at my best when I'm speaking. And like right now, I mean, of course, I value anyone's input. That's something I've also been working on. No matter who a person is, no matter what they believe, no matter how much beef I have with them, I can never shake that objective truth to my life that every human is just as valid as the next, like literally just for being alive. For waking up that day, you're all on the same page. So if someone wants to spew some like hateful bullshit, like, that doesn't mean that they as a human being aren't invalid. And that's so tough because like, I'm not gonna value them as much as other people, maybe, but they're still just as valid. Like, we're equals. Whether you like it or not, we're equals. But what I was saying was, I love conversation. I love hearing from other people. Of course, because that shapes my own perspective, and any new perspective is good. To hear someone's thoughts, what they believe in, what they're so passionate about, or if it's something very mundane that they think about. It could be like a very small change in your, like, oh, I never looked at it that way before. For something stupid, like, oh, I appreciate, like, I don't know, I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, because I'm thinking about other shit. Anyway, I was just gonna say I love conversation and talking with other people, but right now, allowing myself to flow with my thoughts out loud, just by myself, is incredible. When have I done this before? Maybe one other time before, and that was like during a panic attack. And it did help a little bit. But this is kind of amazing. I feel like I'm in a good headspace and I'm beginning a good journey. It's very beneficial, I think, for me, and I mean, if anyone else ever hears this, it might be beneficial as well. I don't know. So much of my time these last couple years has been spent worrying on, I mean, like, low-key, if I'm gonna die, or when I'm gonna die, or why am I feeling this way, I'm probably gonna die. But also, just like my mental health, I worry so often, like, and it's so reactionary and it's impossible to shake right away. But I worry just like, and it spirals so quickly. But like, I worry like, oh my God, like, am I having a mental breakdown? And like, what? And then what is a mental breakdown? Like, am I fucking, what mental disorder do I have that I don't know about, or shit like that? But like, I don't know. I mean, pretty positive I don't. When I went to therapy that one other time, they told me I didn't even have anxiety, like the general anxiety disorder. She said it's definitely like anxiety related, but I don't know, you know, I'm not gonna prescribe you anything or whatever. And that made me feel better. I was like, bet, okay, cool. And it's gotten weirder since then, for sure, but like, I don't know. I think the point of what I'm getting at here, not to get off topic, is I think a lot of it is just, I mean, a lot of it is universal. A lot of it is just like things that, and I've said this to people before, it does calm me down when I remember that like everyone feels this way. Like everyone kind of goes crazy in their head sometimes, or most people, I should say. But I've just been thinking now, like, it could also be completely mental health, unrelated to my mental health, but more related to my, I don't know how to say this, but my spirit, my energy, my connection with, I don't know, it's a very new thought, so I don't know how to put it, but I mean, essentially my connection with the world that isn't the world that we live in. The one that we can't see, the invisible one that maybe we can feel, but we don't know why we feel it. We have no explanation for it. The world that's unrelated and opposite to science. I just think maybe this could be the beginning of that journey for me, in realizing that that's what's been happening, or these feelings that I've been feeling, these thoughts that I've had, or honestly maybe not even that, but just like me not allowing them to be expressed, to be formulated, to be shared. I think it's kind of blocked a lot of shit up within me. And I think it's time to take it seriously. I mean, I plan on going to therapy when I get back from this road trip. I want to start that again because I think that'll be very beneficial for me as well. But I think I'm ready to start this journey. I really do. And maybe this is the journey that is most conducive to me to allow me to reach my fullest potential. The potential I know that I have. My friend said that 25 was the year that he stopped thinking he was going to die soon. And when he told that to me, it fucking hit me, punched me in the gut. Gave me like shivers all over and a little teary-eyed just right away. You know, when someone says something that just hits so close to home to you. Because it was right before my 25th birthday. And that's literally all I wanted. The best birthday present in the world would be to just stop thinking I was going to die so soon. Or just all the time. Or that like anything that I did could potentially kill me or lead to my death. That's an awful way to live. Just a horrible way to live. That's not good for anybody. And like what Melissa said yesterday, the manifestation, the law of attraction, my mom has taught me since I was a child. Even me just thinking about that all the time. I mean, obviously I'm glad it didn't manifest to the ultimate end, but like, if I'm thinking about dying all the time, there's no way that that's going to be like good for my law of attraction and my magnet to the nature and the world around me. Can't be good. I know I have everything within me to change that on my own. I do believe that. I believe that we all do to some extent. Within reason, of course. I'm not speaking for everything. But now's the time for me to get some tools, get some equipment, and work out, exercise. Maybe literally, but I mean more so in the way that like you exercise ideas and practices. Although exercise has been appealing to me lately, my health has been on my mind a lot. I think going back to drinking after 9 months of not has just showed me, you know, like, yeah, it's fun to get fucked up with your friends, like it's fun to like let loose, and of course there are times, you know, where you're just like, I'm gonna get fucked up tonight, and then you do, but then you pay the price the next day. And for me, the anxiety after drinking has gone way down, which is very nice. It's still there a little bit though, it's still not ideal. But now I've just been feeling like the physical. In the past, my anxiety from drinking too much would override any sort of physical pain or just feeling icky. And like Kit said too, the last time I talked to them about this, but they said that my body just had probably gotten used to it too, which is very true. But regardless, it's the inverse now, where the anxiety is way down and the physical nastiness is way up, and it's really not fun. As I'm sure everyone knows, it's not fun, but it just makes me think. Kids said recently too that they were appreciating their sobriety, and they're not like committed to sobriety. Not that that matters, but like they've just appreciated being sober lately, and I think that's a huge thing. The same friend that told me that he was that 25 was the year that he thought that he stopped thinking he was gonna die, also told me once when I told him 9-10 months ago when I was going sober, he told me that sobriety is underappreciated. And I said, damn bro, you're totally right. I had underappreciated it for years. I had overlooked it for years. I had forgotten it existed for years, low key. I took it very much for granted. I don't think that life like has to be so painful. And it's unfortunate that so many things that we do that are like expected and normal are taken, or I mean we do them for the immediate pleasure or because you're addicted or for all these different reasons. But it's like then like your baseline existence is so much more painful than like if you were just alive. And it makes so much sense that people do these things because of, I mean, just like the crushing effects of capitalism and colonialism, misogyny, fucking, that's literally the biggest, like, what word am I looking for here? That's the most universal form of being demeaning or hateful, is misogyny. Fucking over half the world is female, or non-male, I should say. And it's crazy, even like, you know, like the nicest, sweetest boy can still just be filled with misogyny and not even know it. But that's just the way that it works, because these things are so, because they've existed for so fucking long and they're so ingrained in society. That's what people are taught without being taught with words. In the same way that, you know, people say, oh, I don't think I know a single racist, or like, America's not racist. Show me where it's racist. Show me in the laws where it's racist. But it's like, bro, you fucking idiot. It's like the way people act influences so much more than a law ever could. I hope it's not news to anyone. I know it is, but I hope it's not news to anyone that laws don't mean right. There are plenty of things that have been written down and signed and documented in history as being official and the law that are extremely fucked up. And history has shown that. And there really are a lot of people who will be on the wrong side of history. But again, like I was saying before, that doesn't mean they're invalid as people. They think they're right. Just as, I don't want to say we because I don't want to say them, because I don't think it's a side thing. People group up, sure, but it's not ever about sides. My mom said that once, you know, our side and her side, the person she was talking about. But it's like, nah, it's not the way it should be. The world is not bipartisan. The world is not bipartisan America. And America is so focused on itself. And we do have the spotlight on us a lot. But it's because we're yelling all the time. Because we're so fucking loud. Everything is so extreme. Everything is turned up to 10. The pedal is always to the metal. Because that's the way America likes it. It's just consumption and entertainment. And it's really not calm. It's so hard to be calm in America. I feel pretty calm now, though, on this road trip. And I'm driving from Minnesota to North Dakota today, first day of this road trip. I can't remember exactly where I was going with this, but it's a cloudy day. There's really not many cars out on the road. I mean, it's a Tuesday at 11:45 in the morning, and I'm in like rural Minnesota. I think I got like a little over 4 more hours on this trip. I'll probably record my voice a little more. It's very interesting how therapeutic this is. And even just listening, the first take that I took, I mean, it's not like a take. The first recording that I did just a little bit ago, I listened back to it right away. I put music on for 1 second and I was like, nah, this doesn't feel right. So I listened back to what I said, and it felt good. It felt really fucking good. It feels like something I want to share. And I feel like this is a great way this is such a beneficial way to make myself learn and understand these things that I think about myself, that I think about the world. Because like I was saying in the other one, it's hard to have a conversation sometimes, especially me, because I never ever talk over people. And I always will listen. Sometimes I talk longer than I think I should without letting someone talk over me, but I never interrupt other people. Almost never. I'm not perfect, of course not. But the point of what I'm saying is sometimes I lose these special thoughts to me that mean so much to me, that help me. Of course I want to help other people figure out their own thoughts in the same way that they help me figure out mine. But sometimes, a lot of the times, I just need to, and that's why I'm doing this, I just really need to center myself and speak about these things for myself. Speak them into existence. Speak them just literally so I can formulate them, to put them together, instead of them having me so abstract in my head and, one thought kind of like my mind's eye flashes its flashlight on one thought, and then the brightness dims and it flashes on another one, and I never am able to flesh them out, but they're just there, and I think that's what they become so overwhelming. And I also feel like I'm at this point now, like I was telling Kit the other day, I think the most accurate way, and one of my specialties, I think, is, it only makes sense to me because all I know is my understanding, but Melissa said yesterday I'm such a visual learner, and I really am, but I think I'm a visual thinker more than anything. I think so visually, and I can paint, I feel like I can paint very pretty pictures of exactly the way that I'm feeling in ways that a lot of other people can't. But what I was telling Kit yesterday was, it feels like I'm at this point where all of these thoughts and feelings and ideas and anything that's within me that's not tangible is filling up, and it's reached the point very recently where it's starting to overflow. I can't sit and hide from them anymore because there's no room left. There is absolutely no fucking room left. It's filled to the brim, and I've packed it down as far as it can go, but they're spilling out and I need to express them. I just can't not anymore. It would, I don't know what would happen. I feel like, I'm not gonna say like I would fucking kill myself, because I think this is the only way that it would happen, is if I start to express myself in all these things. So I won't even entertain that other idea, because I just don't think that it's truthful. It would be dramatic, but I don't think that it would be truthful. But that's what it is. That's what I feel. I'm just overflowing. And I need to be heard, I need to be seen, and I need to be felt. Always in a way where I don't take up space that I don't belong in, or that I'm not welcome in a respectful way. Not, I don't think anyone is just gonna hate me for fucking talking. Maybe some people will, I don't know. But I don't want to take up space where other people are more important in that space. But I'm sure I'll figure that out. I have nothing but time. I have nothing but time. And I know that sooner rather than later, I'll be doing shit. I'll be making something. I'll be putting something together. I already have, bro. That's the thing. It's so weird that I've been telling myself this for so long. It's like, I want to create. I want to do this. I want to live like an artist. I want to express myself. But it's like, look back on my life. I've been doing that my whole fucking life. Earlier on, it was in less, tangible ways again. But then later on, it has been in tangible ways, like starting Hook Club in college and making a book and giving it out to my friends and making all these fucking stickers and giving them out to my friends and putting them up wherever I go. It's like, I have been doing this shit. I know I fucking have. I gotta remember that I'm doing the shit that I want to do. I've been doing the shit that I've been talking about. In the same way that I was so nervous, for no reason, I was so nervous throughout 2021 when I told everyone, oh, I'm working on myself this year. I'm not drinking, you know, I'm not drinking coffee, I'm limiting my drugs, and for a few months, you know, it was like no drugs, completely sober. But I reached that point where I didn't have, it's always the tangible shit, bro. I reached that point where I didn't have anything tangible to look back on and say, you know, if someone were to ask, like, what are you doing to work on yourself? And I would take a step back and I think, you know what? I can't even really explain to you what I'm doing to work on myself. So does that mean that I'm not working on myself? And that would confuse me because I knew that I was, but like I wasn't confident in it. And then after like 9 months, very recently, I really did I was like, Jesus, all these changes are happening now. It's like, things are happening now that prove that I was working on myself for the better, that I'm changing, that I'm becoming an improved version of myself. I told Kit in my half sleepy state when I was leaving, or when they were leaving for school, that I'll come back from this trip a different person. But as soon as I said that, I kind of woke up a little bit. I was like, I should have said an improved person, because I like that a lot better. Because I'm always me, I've always been me, I always will be me. That's true for everybody. I don't want to be a different person. I don't think anyone should want to be a different person. But I think you should want to improve yourself, because there's always room to improve, no matter who you are. I think so highly of myself, and I have for a long time. And I think a lot of it is because it's been validated by other people, that they tell me how much they mean, or that I mean to them. So I have that validation. But it's like, you don't need that validation. And you should always try to improve yourself, no matter what. Because like I said, we are all just equal. We're literally just people, just being alive. Waking up every day. And just being alive. No matter what anyone is doing. They're just being alive. They gotta eat, they gotta shit, they gotta go to sleep and wake up just like everyone else. And that's so cliche, but it's so fucking true. I just left a rest stop in Alexandria on my road trip. And rest stops have always just held such a special place in my heart. For some reason, I think it's because you're surrounded by, not surrounded, you're sharing your company with, 10 other people. And you might smile, you might nod to each other, but nobody says anything because you're all on your own journeys, doing your own thing. You just need to pee, you need to drink. It's just a nice little way to stop and feel a little bit of community on the road. The road can be so lonely. But I guess that's why I'm doing this, is to be alone in a special way. college for the first time, I realized very, very quickly that one of my favorite things is just being alone around other people. Not invisible, still being seen and seeing other people, validating their own existence, at least within your own head. Maybe acknowledging each other, but still in your own little world. Perfect strangers. And I've said this recently too, but I think that's why I've gotten so sick of Minnesota nice. Is because a lot of the times Minnesota nice, I mean, it's a lot of things, but the thing I'm focused on right now is it feels a little bit intrusive, and it feels a little bit selfish to, you know, interject someone's own solo experience with a hello or anything like that. It just feels a little intrusive. And I think rest stops are so beautiful because no one really does that. You're all doing your own thing. That's why I like Chicago. That's why I like New York and Los Angeles. For that same reason. People are perfect strangers and they treat each other that way. And of course I don't mean be mean to people. It's like somber, like that word, that picture that floated around the internet for, I don't know, back in 2010. Kind of Tumblr core shit, but like realizing everyone else around you has a life as deep and complex as yours. That's a very special thing, and it shouldn't be taken lightly, and it should be remembered often. Because it's very hard to remember that all the time. It's very easy to forget, especially how easy it is to just get stuck in your own head, your own thoughts, your own existence. You are all that you know. You're all that you will ever know for certain. But the reality is you share this world with billions of other people. Sometimes you're, jam-packed together. Sometimes you're very far away from anyone else, but you all still share the same home. It's a very calming thing for me to realize. Earlier today it was nothing but clouds, and now it's nothing but blue sky. And it's sunny, and I feel the warmth on my shoulder, and it's amazing. It's amazing to feel, to have a body and to be able to feel. With all the good, you're gonna feel bad, of course, but like, the bad makes you appreciate the good, and the good makes you appreciate the bad in a weird way. You may not like it, but you're a body. And you are just gonna feel. There's no way around it. The negative feelings I find the most knowledge in as well. I learn the most from them. But don't get me wrong, you can still learn so much from positive feelings too. But positive feelings reinforce what you need. Negative feelings show you what you don't want, and what you can learn to avoid or work on. And I obviously don't think that I made the weather go from cloudy to sunny and clear on my own, but I like to believe that a little bit of my energy made that happen. I just read Bella's letter at the rest stop too, and it made me cry. I'm very happy that she wrote that to me. I think I needed to read that. I needed to hear that. I kind of knew it already, but it's nice to be, again, validation is so nice. It's not always necessary, and I don't think it should be necessary all the time in everyone's life, because that's just not realistic. But it's so nice to be validated. It's a beautiful day, and my spirits are up again. I don't think they were down before, but I was just trying to figure out how to feel. And like I wrote before, a year or two ago, my Achilles heel is literally always just thinking, am I okay? Am I okay? What am I doing? Could I be better? Am I spiraling? Very anxious thoughts. Unhealthy but human. But I feel great now. I feel really good. I'll get to Bismarck in, I think, 4 hours. And I think for the time being, I'm just going to listen to music again. Music didn't feel right for me on the first part of this trip. It made me feel like I was avoiding something, and I think I was. I think I have been for a long time. And I was thinking about this earlier too. Maybe this is the point in my life where I listen to music a lot less. But I mean, a lot less for me would still be a lot. I listen to music almost all the fucking time. So of course it's not gonna go away, but I think that's always been like a little scary for me, because I liked the amount of music I listened to. And in a selfish way, it was, to not, I wouldn't flex all the time, but people ask like the Spotify roundup shit. Oh, how many hours did you listen to? And I kind of say my number, my Apple Music number, with my chin held a little high, because I was like, yeah, I do listen to that much music, and I do. It's true. But I think with my new journey, with my new practices, what I want to fulfill in my own destiny, and in the future that I know that I have, I think music will still be a very hot top priority, but I think it'll be lesser, and I think I'll fill that time in with other practices and other exercises like this. And that's what life is. You gotta change. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what other people feel. Maybe a lot of people don't need to change. Maybe there is a point where you don't need to change. If you're content and happy and harmless to other people's existences, who am I to say that you need to change? But for me right now, I know that I need to change, and I don't need to change a lot. I've been changing a lot, and I'm always changing for the better. I don't think I've ever changed for the worse, not once. At least not majorly. And if I have taken a step back, I've taken 2 leaps forward. I know I have. I'm confident in that. And I need to remember my confidence and keep my confidence without arrogance and always with humbleness. I feel like that Venn diagram is like that center of all of those things it's very articulate, and it changes from person to person, I'm sure, but it's very achievable. It reminds me of how I've said for a little while now, and I would say this back when I was angry at everything. And I do believe this, though, even though I said it from a place of anger, I do believe that it's true. That it's infinitely complex to be a good person, but at the same time, it's the easiest fucking thing in the world to be a good person. To at least try and be a good person. If you try and be a good person continuously, that's a practice in itself. And you will always become closer to always being a good person. Nobody can ever achieve that perfectly because nobody is perfect. We're all just human. We have flaws. Again, cliche but true. So many cliches are just true. But I don't think anyone should give up on that. And like the conversation I was having last night with Carl, Mark, Ben, and Dan. Carl was talking about some quote that he had heard, the most hateful right-wing, extreme fascist is still better than the nihilist, because the nihilist has given up. And I feel like that's been a recurring lesson in my life that's just been popping up a lot lately. Charlie, the 44-year-old that came into Nico's that we chatted for an hour with, he said the same thing. Rico Nasty in her interview that made me, her little documentary that made me fall in love with her like all those years ago. Rico says, you either keep trying or you don't. The world is gonna keep going on no matter what. And Charlie said, the only choice you have is to keep going, or something along those lines. And I believe that. I mean, I don't believe that that's an objective truth. That's one of those things where I believe you do have the choice to not continue. And I would never blame anyone for taking that choice. That's why suicide is such a hard topic for me. And the people that I've talked to who have been suicidal, it's so difficult. Because I have to tether that, I don't know if that's the right term, I have to walk that line between telling them, I don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know your life. I know your life as much as you tell me, and I can talk to you right now. But I need to be honest for my integrity. I've thanked people for not killing themselves. I've thanked them for talking to me and for staying here, at least in this moment. And I tell them my experience and my feelings about it. Not in a way that this is what you should do. You need to stay alive because you need to think about all the other people that you're going to hurt, blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you, the people that you would hurt if you kill yourself will not be hurting as much as you were. And I know people cope with these things in different ways. But I think that it's selfish. And I know that those people would probably know that that's selfish too. And neither of us are right or neither of us are wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. Anyway, I'm sure I'll be doing this again soon. I'm gonna listen to music. Okay, so I think I'm just kind of thinking about how I am and how I function, because a lot of the times I'm able to function very normally and it feels very normal, and I can think about things that are literally triggering to me when I feel anxious that can cause me to spiral. But in my calm state, I can think about them and they don't really affect me. It's almost like I have a shield or something that's up sometimes and down others, and I don't really know when it's gonna. I don't know when it's gonna be up or down. But I'm thinking with what I was saying earlier today. I'm thinking I need to treat those as sensitive times for me, in the sense where I shouldn't be so hard on myself. And it's funny, it's funny that I'm saying all these things that Melissa literally told me yesterday, and I'm realizing that after I say them. But that was another thing she said very sincerely, was just don't be so hard on myself. I need to remember that. I need to think that when I have those periods of time that are very difficult for me to function or to feel like I have my footing in reality, when it feels like I don't, when it feels like I'm floating away, my biggest fear, I need to realize that these are sensitive times and I can still function in the world because it's unpredictable, and I kind of have to. Like the driving example, I don't really have a choice. But I can still choose to kind of tap into it as it's happening. And like I was saying earlier, if it's not, maybe it isn't mental health related. I mean, maybe it is partly. I feel like it has to be. But maybe it's more related to this higher self than I realized in the past, or have realized in the past, or even have given myself credit for. I've always been very open to spirituality and energy, and I know I have a very good head on my shoulders in terms of intuition, in terms of, I mean, I'm biased of course, but my own personal morals, I believe, are very high. But yeah, when this happens to me out of the blue, I gotta learn, I want to try to learn to, take some deep breaths, both literally and figuratively, and think to myself, okay, hey, we're going through this, it'll be a little bit, it's not going to be forever. That's one of the biggest things that I need to remind myself of every time. That's one of the first things that I found out kind of helped me, to not hold on to it, to not think that it's going to take over my life and that I'm like falling down the rabbit hole, because it's happened so many times now where it's like, okay, kind of used to it, even though it still is awful, it still sucks. I mean, it feels like I'm listening to Kanye right now, and I just was thinking actually a few minutes ago about when he was talking about his bipolar shit being his superpower. And I mean, I could treat it like that too. It could be my superpower. That could be my time where I'm like most connected, most open to being connected, or most vulnerable in terms of with other people, or most vulnerable to other people in terms of like feeling their emotions, feeling the empathy that I feel that fucks me up so often. Or like I'm just thinking of like Avatar and like Aang and Korra, like trying to, with firebending and shit, like trying to, or lightning. I think it was lightning that I'm thinking of in particular. But when, maybe it's Zuko, it doesn't matter. When someone's trying to learn lightning, it's, like they can't handle it all at once right away. They have to work with it. But it's so fucking special, because almost no one can do that. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm special, but like, I am special. I know I'm special. I've known that my whole life. And I said things that are similar to this in the past, but like I feel like while they were true, and I'm proud of myself for thinking of it back then too, to still have that head on my shoulders, to be like, okay, I feel like this is going to keep happening, so let's just do it. Let's figure out how to deal with it. Back then, though, I don't think I had the right tools or equipment, and I'm very new to it, obviously, because I've been having these thoughts for one whole day. But I feel like this is the most important step. This is the first step. The first step is always the most important, because then you're moving, then you're going. And I don't think I'm going to forget that I'm going anymore like I did in the past. I don't really want to be like numb to that anymore. And I'm already so well received by the world I interact with already. Like I can't imagine what it'll be like if I just keep tapping into my potential, like I was talking about earlier. So I'm in Bismarck still. I woke up maybe like 30 minutes ago. Very, very gray and dark still. It's rainy and windy. It's kind of beautiful in its own way. When I woke up it's so dark. I woke up, I think the blinds work very well too, but I woke up convinced it couldn't have been more than like 4 a.m. just from the light. And it was like 7, which was very surprising. So I went back to sleep for a little bit. Yeah, very interesting energy. Calm though. I feel good today. But when I was meditating, I realized it's similar to what I was saying yesterday, but not that I need to have a reason for it, because I think that I'm going down a road where this is more so in my past. It'll still come up. Of course it will, but hopefully to a much lesser extent. I was thinking just the way that I have felt so often is due to me not allowing myself to let thoughts and let energy flow through me freely. I've been so scared of so many things that I think I've either rejected it completely or stopped it midway through. And I think that leaves my mind and my body, it takes a toll. I think it leaves them, like when you get a taste of something good and then you just like get rid of it, or it stops happening. I don't think my mind or body appreciates that very much. Not that they're mad at me. I refuse to think that ever. Because I have before, and that's not a good thought to have for anyone. At any time, for any reason. Your mind and body are always on your side. Because, you are them. It's like the Holy Spirit. I'm definitely never going to be Christian again. But I was thinking when I was meditating too, about religion and about what I want to start doing and how that ties to religion. I'm not worried about it. It's just an interesting thing. But anyway, the Holy Spirit, it hadn't ever made sense to me until very recently when I started thinking about my mind, my body, and just me as a whole. I think that's the closest way to accurately think about it without thinking about it too hard. But also I was thinking about, when I thought about religion, and I guess that these were like side thoughts during my meditation, because I was trying, to be just as present as possible, but of course the mind wanders. But with religion, when I was thinking of religion, I was thinking about all these other things that, because maybe I want to identify as something in the future. I don't know yet. Not even religious per se, but, a lifestyle or something. Because I think that would help me, honestly. I'm a very, identifiable person. I have these traits about me that are very clear-cut. Even though I will talk to people about it until the day I die, or my quote-unquote identifiers, I love talking about them, and they're not static, they're fluid. They can change and they can bend. But I think it'd be good for me maybe to have an identifier like that. But I was thinking that all of these things can exist at once. I feel like it's very easy for people to think that there are just different, kinds of people. And if you are one certain kind of person, you can't really be characteristics of another kind of person. And of course, I think everyone realizes that that's not true as they get older. But it feels like for me, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I realize that. And I encourage people to be whatever they want, you know, in their own life, if it's harmless. But I didn't really think about that for myself, or at least the criteria was a lot smaller. Like the pool of options that I had was a lot smaller. It wasn't true to what I actually could be. And I think that's changing. And it's crazy. I mean, it feels like I'm living a different life already. Or a changed life. An evolved life, maybe. And another thought I had, and have had since yesterday, or 2 days ago, was, these good things are going to happen to me. I know they are. They always do. I just need to keep walking down this road that I'm on. And actually walking down it. Walking down it with confidence, like a little strut, and my chin held high. Not kind of like running, you know, like half a block and then like stop and look confused or forget where I'm going. And scared. Just without fear. It's so easy for me and everyone else to think, you know, like, what are the exact steps I need to take to achieve what I want to achieve? But for me, and I can't speak for anyone else, I'm sure other people feel this way too, but for me right now, and what I've known, but right now especially, it just feels like all I need to do is just keep moving. I don't need to know the exact steps because my intuition is so strong that it's never led me astray. I've been completely untouched in my 25 years of life. And I hope to remain untouched. And if I'm not, that's fine. But if I get touched, if I go through strife, then I know that it'll be for the right reasons because I'm moving forward. I don't ever want to let myself not keep moving forward ever again. So this is a weird sort of thing that made me realize this. And I have already said it a few times indirectly. But it's about confidence and just putting gas in at the gas station here. For some reason, I just do for a lot of reasons, I do so many different things in kind of like slow, staggered motions just because I'm so unsure. But I just don't, I'm realizing that it's just not, I don't want to say it's not good, because it's not bad, but it's just not like the best that I can do. Like, I just need to be more confident, which I said yesterday directly, but absolutely, I just need more confidence just in like everyday situations like that. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. I always do the right thing anyway. It's just a weird example that made me realize that. I think that can be the same like staggered motion, no confidence kind of things can be said throughout so many different things in my life. And honestly, I've been grateful for it in the way that, like, you know, I'm very diligent. I don't do things wrong that often. I don't do things very fast. And that's something I don't think will change. I'm not very like fast, you know, at like performing different things that other people are. Just because I do like to take my time and like due diligence and all that stuff. And I'm glad I've always had that about me. but for little things. Like even also, I felt this way making the bed at my Airbnb this morning. Same exact thing, where it's just like, I could be making this bed a whole lot faster if I wasn't thinking so hard, because it's like, what am I even thinking of? And not like I'm in a rush, you know, I'm on vacation technically, but there's just no, like, why do it so slow? Where's the confidence? Like, come on, bro, it's no big deal. Damn, it is. So that's just what I wanted to mark down. I'm over this bridge in Bismarck right now. It's really rainy and extremely windy. I feel just fine about it though. It's just interesting. Very different from yesterday. North Dakota is a very interesting place. I kind of have like a lot of, and I guess I should feel this way about South Dakota too. I just haven't been there in a while. With the mindset that I have now. But I have a lot of respect for the people that live here. Disregarding, you know, like their maybe outdated mindsets and like kind of hateful energy. I know not everyone has fallen into that trap, but a lot of people in rural areas have, obviously. That's no surprise. But like purely objectively, I have a lot of respect for the people that live out here. Just, it's so mundane. It seems so like, I don't know how anyone could do it, honestly. But a lot of people do, and a lot of people have for a long time, so I think there's a lot of respect there. It's also crazy to me that I'm on 94 West, and I was on here yesterday for 400 miles, and today I'm doing another 400 on the highway that I used to live right next to, like literally right next to. That's super interesting to me. America's really fucking big, and the fact that 94 and many others, but 94 is the one I'm on, the one I'm familiar with, how so many highways can just be so fucking long. It was interesting yesterday because I was watching this, I put it on even though I know that I didn't want to, but like, I mean, more of me did want to. Literally a show called Meat Eater on Netflix, and it's just these dudes that, like, you know, I'm like rolling my eyes out of their fucking sockets the whole time. Dudes that think they're alpha males, you know, like the intro literally said, like, I hunt to live and I live to hunt, like shit like that. Like, okay, dude, we see you in your, like, you know, $5,000 get up from REI. Like, you're not that special. You're not a hunter and gatherer in the way that you think that you are. But I mean, I will give small credit because one of them did say that it just made him respect and wonder how people could have lived the way that they lived, you know, a couple hundred years ago when they were, well, I shouldn't even say a couple hundred years ago. I should say hundreds and hundreds of years ago. The indigenous people that did live here. That's the colonial mindset that I have been raised with, that I'm, you know, trying to unlearn, which it's obviously a process that takes forever. But instead of thinking about the white guys that he was talking about, I'm going to think about the indigenous people that lived here before. But it's just, it is crazy. His sentiment is still true no matter who he was thinking of. The people who, like, genuinely just lived and survived off of the land with nothing else. Of course, it's extra bizarre for us to think about because we live in the age of the city and all, you know, technology and the fucking internet. That's incomprehensible for people back then, I'm sure. But it's so extremely interesting, and there's like a lot of respect. And I think some of that same respect, it's not exactly the same, but there are little pieces of it. I feel the same, the people that live in fucking Bismarck, North Dakota, and the people who lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago just off of the land. Maybe it's just because places like North Dakota are so kind of untouched still, in a way. I mean, driving from Fargo to Bismarck yesterday was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Just for the fact that it was so untouched, and there was so many lakes, or just like ponds, I guess. Damn, it is windy as shit. I hope it's even okay to hear me, but Bella sent me her playlist yesterday, and I've been listening to it. I'm only a few songs in, but I'm excited to listen to it. I think I'm gonna go back to that now. I know, so this is inspired just because I'm listening to the playlist that she made me, but I'm just thinking so much about like all the reasons why I like Bella so much, why I love her. And I mean, the more time that goes on, like, I think these same reasons are the ones that made me fall in love with her. But I mean, the first one is her music taste, and that's what we've always, like, throughout the whole duration of our relationship since we've known each other, which has been a year now, which is crazy to think about. That felt like our music tastes and sharing music with each other felt like what kept us in contact the most, what gave us an excuse to text the other person just out of nowhere. Because it's always nice to catch up, but like, it's just it's a perfect little double whammy when you get a fire new song that you get to associate with that person. But then also at the time you just get the chat. It just opens the door to chat. But I think her music taste is so unique. I think it probably is like one of the most unique. I'll say this, I think it's the most unique and the most like genuine. Like when you put those two things together, it's so clear that she loves all of the songs that she loves, and they're from all over, like fucking all genres, all like languages. It's so fucking interesting. I've learned a lot from her, and I just love when she listens to the songs that she likes, she's so into them. Because I know, and I put the unique and genuine together because I feel like a lot of people, you know, fucking like rate your music nerds, they just go listen to a bunch of music as if it's like a chore, or as if that gives you like clout, or like that gives you leverage, which is fucking stupid. It's like the worst way to listen to music, for real. But Bella's just the exact opposite of that, while still just having such a unique taste. And I think we connect on like, I know I've introduced her like to, or I've like kind of, you know, nudged her some directions, and she's nudged me some directions. And I think we're like the perfect two people to kind of be open to that with our music. And I think that's why we have songs that remind each other, that remind us of each other so heavily, combined with all of our emotions towards each other. I'm driving through the Great Plains right now, and I just kind of realized that Minnesota, like, is not really the Great Plains. Like, this is true Great Plains. It's very hilly. It's beautiful. It's so interesting to see, even though it's like gray and rainy. It's just gorgeous. Reading Bella's letter yesterday made me so happy. Just I love to hear what she remembers of our memories. And I should tell her what I remember of our memories too, because it's always so interesting. People remember different things. People remember different details, and they forget other certain details, which is always, I mean, that's just being a human. But it's always very like fun and cute to like compare and contrast what you remember. So I loved it for that reason, but I also like, it's such an interesting position to be in, the one that we're at right now, or to be in my position reading the letter. When I saw that she had said, she repeated too, I don't know if I made the right decision. And how that made me feel, so interesting. Because, you know, it's like I wanna hold her and just say, like, I don't think you did either. Like, I think the decision is clear. I think we both know it. Because I feel like if you are unsure, it's the wrong decision. And not that everything has to be right or wrong, you know, you go through your own path and whichever, like, route that you want to take, whatever, like, hurdles you want to take, whatever loop-de-loops you want to go through, or maybe not even what you want to go through, but that you do go through regardless. And I won't go into this because I know I've talked to her about it, which is the only important thing. I understand what she's going through as much as I can. But aside from wanting to tell her, you know, just like, I don't think you made the right decision either. I feel happy, like so happy to have read that, obviously. But that happiness is kind of immediately met with a little bit of guilt. Because how could I be happy at the person that I'm in love with's expense? But I don't think there's any other way to feel about it. So I haven't thought that much about it, and I'm not trying to even right now. Just because I know that there's really no other way that it can be. And I'm sure I'll tell her this when we're together, because I'm convinced, I mean, as I've said, like I told my dad, I think we'll be together soon. Like Melissa told me, with a smile on her face, don't worry about her. It's gonna happen soon. And that just brought tears to my eyes, because it's just like, fucking right, I knew it. It's the same validation I felt with me having a future. I knew it was gonna happen, I just needed someone like her to tell me that. And I think this trip will be good, as we've said, even amongst ourselves, like, this trip will be good for us to, like, get away from each other, just to think things through. I hope we come back on the same page, or if not immediately, you know, sometime in the near future. I'm assuming we will, and I hope that we will so desperately. But I'm not going to treat it like it's a certainty, because, you know, that'd be foolish. So I've also just been thinking about what I love about Bella. I think I already said that. But the small things I appreciate about her. I love when she skips and hops. I think that's so cute. It makes me smile every time. It makes me want to try it out, but sometimes I feel like I'll look dumb. But I know I'll do it sometime. I just gotta do it when the time is right. I don't want to force it. But that's with her, like, nothing is forced on her end, ever. She is so authentic to her desires. She does exactly what she wants to, which is very admirable. I love giving her hugs, and I don't mean this in any sort of, like, body image way. You know, I don't have, like, a fucking type of person. Like, my type of person is just someone I fucking vibe with, and that I think is fucking hot, which is Bella. But I'm just gonna say, I love giving her hugs because I love how skinny she is, and I can just wrap my arms around her so much more than I can with other people. I just feel so close to her, like, physically, because we're both kind of skinny people. And I know that's so weird, but, like, I just love that feeling every time we hug. I love her body so much. I mean, I don't have a type, but, like, goddamn, I love that body type so much. And I think it's just, hers is just amazing. Everything about it. I love her skin, it's very smooth. I think she's like low-key, I think she's like the prettiest person that I've ever seen that doesn't have to, like, try. And I think she's beautiful when she does try too, of course. But even just looking at her, like when she sleeps, like she sleeps so beautifully. Even though she snores. Which is still kind of cute. It's like a cute snore. I love her hair in every way that she has it. I fucking love her style. Best style I know for sure. That's what first caught my eye, actually. On her Tinder profile, funny enough, was just her style. And her like vibe, just her like aesthetic. I like a lot when she rolls her eyes when I make a stupid joke. She does like that roll her eye and like move her head to the side really quick with a smile on her face. I love that she's always like down to try things. And in a selfish way, I think that's what I need. I need someone who is willing to make, because I'm willing if people I'm with are willing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be my first choice to do these things that are out of my comfort zone. But if I'm with people, or like, especially like if I'm with her, and just how I love her so much, like I'm so much more willing to do things. I'm not like, I don't steal and shit. I don't think I'll ever do that, but I don't know. For some reason, I think it's kind of funny when she does it. I really want to be on a trip like this with her someday. I want a road trip with her. And I think, you know, obviously we've had so much one-on-one time together, but I want so bad, just an elongated one-on-one trip together. She's so social, and that's wonderful. And all her friends are great. But sometimes I just want her, like, to myself for, like, a long period of time. And just grow together. I just passed a point in my trip where I experienced the precipitation change from rain to snow, and it's just crazy. I'm driving right now and everything is just covered in white. And it's a little windy, it's very wet snow. It's not like a blizzard really, but it is very windy, so visibility isn't too high, but God, it's just beautiful. It reminds me of my drives to South Dakota with my mom and my brother, like we did so many times. And I just think there's such a beauty in this area of this country, or I should say just this land. It's not related to America at all, so I won't do that. But it's just absolutely beautiful. It's so modest. There's nothing but hills and snow. There's almost no traffic out here. Even though we're on a major interstate highway. I feel very, very calm here. I feel like I'm learning more substantially how to be okay with different things that happen. Excuse me. To take it in stride and actually take it in stride. And at the same time to decide whether or not I want to do something spur of the moment. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I was thinking about, I just went through Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and there's this scenic loop, and I thought I mulled it over for like 10 minutes. Should I go? Should I not? I'm going to Billings. I still have almost 4 hours, but I don't have anything to do in Billings. Just checking in my motel. Probably go to a bar, get some food, and hang out. Holy fucking shit. I was just gonna say, the recording stopped because I just fucking drove past a flipped over semi. That was crazy. And I wanted a video. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying that I don't have anything to do in Billings, so I have no rush to get there. But I was mulling over in my head, should I go on the scenic drive or not? You know, it's like an 1.5-hour loop. And I had already been chilling for a little bit at the rest area in the first visit center of the national park. So I was already taking in I was walking around a little bit, and I was able to take in the scenery. It's very, very pretty. It's very like Badlands, like. But I decided to try it out, try the drive out. And I turned back almost immediately because I was like, oh, you know what, I don't really care. I don't really want to do this. And I was proud of myself for both decisions. And I think that's a very special place to be in. To be proud of yourself, to make the decision to try something out, and then be proud of yourself again when you realize, you know, I don't really feel like this would be fulfilling. I'm sure it would be pretty, it'd be cool, but I don't need that experience. I don't want that experience right now. And then to follow what you do want. And here I am driving to Billings, and I'm having a wonderful time just surrounded by snow. I don't know if I've ever experienced snow this early in October. I see all these fences and I wonder who owns the land. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to just walk or run or travel away from the road on these big pieces of land and just be surrounded by nothing but field and crops and hills. I've always been very attracted to the lifestyle of a farmer. Not like literally for what they do per se, but just like the atmosphere. It's so gorgeous, and it's so calm and humble. Semi in front of me is kind of acting like my guide right now. I always thought it was interesting. I think I only really noticed it this year, but the almost like sign language of the road. And what I mean by that right now is when truckers have their hazards on in dangerous conditions, whether there's an accident up ahead or it's very rainy, or in this case, we're reduced to one lane on a 2-lane highway because the one to our right is just covered with snow. We passed some plows back there who just haven't gotten to this spot yet. But so now he's getting over for me to pass him. And it's just like, it's so interesting And he just put his hazards off. That's very interesting. It's a little scary passing semis in this, because right now it's like the visibility is very, very difficult to see. There we go. And the road is pretty clear now. But there was a point where I saw the flipped over semi in the middle of the road, or in the median, little grass median area. It looked like it had been there for a little while because there wasn't a person or any people there. And then a little ways later, I saw just a regular car in the middle of the median who had spun out. So it changed from fun to a little bit scary. Or I guess sobering is the best way to put it, you know, because every once in a while there are ridges of snow that are just pretty caked onto the road, and it's very hard to see them before they're immediately in front of you. And you know, you can't press on the brakes that quickly anyway. Like I'm driving over one right now. It's very interesting. It's not just driving anymore, it's maneuvering. But I'm playing it pretty safe. I also don't want to go like 20 miles under the speed limit, but that's what you have to do sometimes. The speed limit here is 80, which is fucking sick. Really cool. I thought 75 was cool. 80's even cooler. Still very, very windy and snowy, just white, surrounded by white. It's gorgeous, but sobering. It reminds me of how I feel about the ocean. Like a respectful fear. The heat in my car reminds me of my mom's old black sedan that she had until it broke down on her. And she had hoped to give me when I turned 16, but unfortunately I didn't make it that far. But the heat in her car, in that car, was very stale. It was very warm, it did its job, but it was very stale. It felt like it was a blanket. But we had blankets on as well. We would drive in some very cold conditions in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota, going to another point in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. And it was some combination between the heat from the car, the smell of the blankets, and the conditions outside that gave me a headache. I had a headache very often in that car. I think it was the smell of the seats as well. I think it was the smell of the car. But I had a lot of memories in that car, a lot of fond memories I look back on. Two of my favorite songs came from that car. Lovely Day by Bill Withers and The Big Rock Candy Mountain. I can't remember who that's by right now. But my mom would always put on her cassette that she made for her long drives. Because as often as we would go, my brother and me, my mom would go even more often. But those two songs are the two that I remember most from that cassette that she always had. Before aux cords and before you could really get any reception out there for radio, or before we had cell phones either. But I remember when I got my first cell phone, my drive to South Dakota was the first time that I realized that reception isn't everywhere. It's not a universal thing. It's something that has to be implemented. that was unfortunate at the time because it was when I first got my first cell phone, and I was a little late to the party, so most of my friends, almost all of my friends had already had them. But all I wanted to do was text them. Our rides were quiet when I was young too, between the family members. But we talked more than we did than when I got my phone. I was also just a moody teenager. Everyone has to go through that phase as well. There's something very special about being out seemingly in the middle of nowhere in the most talked about country in the world. It reminds me that there are places like this everywhere, but especially in America. It reminds me how different things are, and it makes me feel like I blame these people even less for holding their beliefs that I despise. Not to say that I wouldn't hold them accountable for them. I'm sure they would own them without any need for me to confront them about that. But it makes sense when you live in a trailer 20 miles from anyone else in either direction. Any direction. I think about how little these people must talk. Because even if you're surrounded by people that you know and love in these desolate areas, the more desolate, the more time you spend with them, and the more time you spend with someone, the less you have to say. I imagine some of that grows into resentment, but I would like to imagine that some of it also grows into a deeper kind of love or respect that you hold with that person. When you know what they're gonna do and they do it, and you're validated, and you smile to yourself because you predicted that they would do the thing that they just did. And you know that because you've seen them do it so often. You know when they're gonna do it, and you know how they're gonna do it. I think that's a very special thing. And I wonder if people in Montana think Montana's beautiful. I'm sure most of them do. And I wonder how much they know people respect this area of the United States in big cities. At least in my experience, everyone I've talked to has said that Idaho, Montana, Wyoming are just beautiful. And this is the very first time that I've adventured here, period. I've never been here. And I'm happy I'm here by myself. It feels very, very explorative in that way. I feel much more grounded in a necessary way. It feels like it fits this time in my life very accurately. There's no need to be goofy or fun or talk deep with anyone other than myself. It's only my second day. I have a lot to go.